Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice, Batlfeck Batman. This has been a long time coming. They've released several different variations of the Batlfeck Batman, but never the one we want, which is him in his normal suit, and here it finally is. Can't wait to open this up, hopefully it does not disappoint. I pre-ordered this thing at the McFarlane Toy Store, ordered the bundle with Ben Affleck and the Nightmare Hellbat. Between the discount code, the bundle discount, even after shipping and taxes, it was still cheaper than the retail price. So, let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse, Batman. Here he is in the package. We have a collector's card, display stand, total 4 hands, gravity launcher, and 2 batarangs. One side of the package, Batman from Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice. Other side simply says Batman. At the bottom, much credits, and there's his barcode if that helps. And on the back side, here's the Dawn of Justice logo. So no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. Display stand, collector's card, 4 hands, 2 batarangs, and a grapple launcher. Pretty good to go on accessories and bat gadgets, so now let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is the Ben Affleck Batman from Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice. This is a reboot of the Batman franchise for the umpteenth time. They didn't wait that long after The Dark Knight Rises, just 4 years later, and bam, brand new Batman. This is Ben Affleck. A lot of people laughed when he was cast as Batman. Ben Affleck has sort of a bad reputation, not being a very serious, good actor. If he failed miserably in Daredevil, although I personally think that movie's underrated, it's better than I remember being in him as Daredevil. Really not that bad. Ben Affleck said he would never do another superhero movie after his appearance with Daredevil. But he read the script, and he thought it was so good that he wanted to get on board. And say what you want about Batman vs Superman or the DC Cinematic Universe, but I think the way Ben Affleck looked as Batman was absolutely fantastic. Ben Affleck's acting was not the reason this movie failed. Personally, I think Batman vs Superman is underrated. The movie is better than people give it credit for, much more complicated, but some of that is to the movie's flaw. The movie crams way too much into a 2.5-hour film. Way too much stuff that's not fully fleshed out or explained to the audience. If you're a hardcore fan like me, yeah, you've seen the movie a ton of times, you know about the, extra stuff behind the scenes and blah, 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 and you know the context of everything. But if you take the movie at face value, I can understand why it's, misunderstood or not as appreciated as much as it should be, because it should have been like a 2-part movie. There's just so much stuff shoved into this movie. And there's some bad stuff. Superman dying this quick, blah, 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 all this stuff. But we're getting a little off topic. This review is about the figure, Batfleck. But say what you want about Batman vs Superman or the DC Cinematic Universe, I think Ben Affleck was a good Batman. He was also a good Bruce Wayne. Now, I have some issues with how they portrayed Batman. He's using guns, he's killing people, etc. But a lot of stuff you don't see behind the scenes, as Batman sort of turned dark after Robin died, but they do not explain that stuff to the audience at all. They don't explain that that's why Joker has capped teeth in Suicide Squad. All these movies do kind of a bad job portraying everything to the audience. But I think the suit looked fantastic. He's big and bulky. It's sort of a mix of modern Batman and the Dark Knight Returns Batman. Has that giant fat Batman logo. The story itself was sort of inspired by the Dark Knight Returns, which is considered one of the best Batman stories ever. The short-eared cowl, his intensity, I thought it was all very well done. What do you guys think? Ben Affleck, thumbs up, thumbs down? Drop me a line in the comments below. Let me know how you feel about him. But for now, let's take a look. So, starting with his head. Now, the ears look decent, pretty short. The cowl has some expression in the brow. But, it looks good, just doesn't look great. Just a little bit soft in the head. The neck seems a little bit too thin, too long. I kind of want to take the peg out and see how it looks sitting a little bit lower in there. But for a $22 mass market toy, I think it looks absolutely fantastic. This is destroying whatever Mattel put out, and we'll check that out later in the video. He's got the giant bat logo here, and it's got some damage, some scratches on it. His entire suit is very textured, but that's how it was in the film. It was almost made of like a Kevlar material, bulletproof and knife-proof. And you know what? Did a good job. The picture I saw online, it looked, shinier, brighter. It looks a lot better in hand than all the pictures I saw. So, thumbs up for that. The texturing is phenomenal all over this thing, as it should be. double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, cloth soft goods cape, and my assumption is they're going to be preparing us for the eventual Batman vs Superman Batmobile. That way, if you get this figure now, get the car later, he'll fit. They did put themselves into a little bit of a pickle, as a lot of the Batman figures have plastic capes. For example, the Dark Knight Batman. So when the tumbler comes out, what are you going to do? And I don't have an answer for that. Todd did say he's going to try to make all the different Batmobiles out there, so I look forward to that. So far, so good. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. So, I want to be critical, not necessarily overly critical. Mouth looks pretty good. He's got a little bit of a shadow, but you can barely see it. Now the dimple on his chin, if it's there at all, it's very subtle. They could have done a little better job painting that. Eyes look good. The sculpting in his brow, the cowl also looks pretty good. Now for the front view, his head actually doesn't look that bad, that thin. But it should be a little bit lower, and the neck should be really fat. He was just like a big bear or panther in this movie. As a whole, I like it a lot better than I expected to. I saw the promo pictures and I thought it looked kind of crappy, kind of toyetic and basic. But it looks better than it did in the pictures. And a lot of McFarlane toys do look better in hand than in photos. I don't know. I definitely want to see if there's a way to lower that head a little bit. I think that would sort of fix him. Although I don't want to make him any shorter than he is, so got a toss up there. If you're telling me you don't see Ben Affleck's profile from the side view here, and his jawline and his face, I'll say you're lying. I mean, I think it looks very good from the side here. And here's a look at the figure, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories, and let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. Typical McFarlane stand we've seen 8 billion times before. It's a black perfect circle, very thin, very basic, but it gets the job done. And then for his collector's card, as you can see, it's an image of the poster of Batman vs Superman. We have a regular Batman facing off with Superman. Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice. On the back, there is a description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. And now for his hands. He has a total of 4 of them, 2 left hands and 2 right hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And they even added his sort of knuckles on here. This is a very brutal and violent Batman. And here's his alternate pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands with trigger fingers. Should be able to accommodate his batarang or grapnel launcher. Now let's look at his batarangs. He has 2 of them. They're done with the Batman vs Superman logo. The batarangs are all black, but they're super, super thick, super fat. They should be very thin. And it's one thing McFarlane sometimes gets wrong. They look okay, but the color and the size are way off. McFarlane tends to make their accessories sometimes way bigger than they should be. Here's Batman holding and getting ready to throw that batarang. And if you want him to, yes, he can hold both of them at the same time. Now for his grapnel launcher. This thing is also done in pure black. In the movie, it was silver, it had like a wooden handle. The sculpting is all there, but the paint is totally missing. Looks good. Doesn't seem quite as oversized as the batarangs. Here's Batman holding and getting ready to use his grapnel launcher, which if you look at his hand, does seem like it's a little bit too oversized. I saw that excess part at the bottom below his hand. Quick overall thoughts so far. He's good. He's better than good. He's almost great, but not quite. The head, it looks good. Just short of great. And for a $20 figure out there, you know what? I'll take it. Very well done. Looks better than what Mattel did. And yeah, I'm sure you're going to say Mezco's face sculpt looks better, but they cost a whole bunch more. Cloth cape, pretty good. The texture on the suit and the bat symbol, much better than I expected. It just looked a lot shinier and brighter in the pictures I saw. In hand, it's a little darker and grittier. Maybe not quite as much as it should be, but I think it looks good. Belt looks good. As far as the paint goes, really the only missing pieces is dimple could be a little bit more, there on his chin, and then his scruff could be a little bit better. He's missing the little knuckles being painted and the tips of his toes, but that stuff doesn't even bother me. Not a big deal. As a whole, for a mass market Ben Affleck figure, they did an excellent job. Looks really good. The chin on the Justice League Tactical Suit Batman was spot on. This one's not quite as good, but the profile's definitely there. It's better than good, not quite great. My initial thoughts. Now, I do want to see what it looks like with his head a little bit lower. So here's how he looks right now. It doesn't look too bad from the front, and it doesn't really look bad from the side, but I want to see if the head could go a little lower, make the neck seem a little fatter and a little bit less long, see what's up there. So I took the bar out of his neck, the peg, and just sort of sat his head up on there. Heated up, completely removed it. You could find one that's a little bit shorter from one of the other McFarlane figures, or a different line, or just sort of set it up on there. Now, it's a lot shorter. Maybe it's even too short. You can go even shorter than that and give him absolutely no neck, and that looks really bad. But as it was, I don't know, maybe about up to here. Somewhere sort of in between. That still looks a little bit too low. I don't know, maybe about like this. Looks a little better. And here it is, back to normal. I don't know if that really made it look much better or not. If you're not careful, you can push it down too low and make it look hideous. It's just a little bit too high up, just a tiny bit lower would be nice. And I will admit, after checking a part of the movie, you want to push that head down as far as you can go. He should have almost no neck. It should be super thick, super low. And while we're on the subject of heads, I decided to pop on a Mezco 112 Collective Batman vs Superman head on this thing. And I'll tell you, it looks about perfect. It fixes the neck issues. Head sculpt's fantastic. Paint job, everything. Yeah, you're not going to want to give up your Mezco head for this guy, but it does come with 2 or 3. It's just sitting on there right now. I'd have to find a smaller peg, but that wouldn't be a really hard thing to do. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his accessories, now for his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing at about 7.2 inches tall, which can translate to just over 18 centimeters. If you go to the top of the ears, about 7.3 inches tall. I believe the Hush and Batman is about 7.4 inches tall, so it's pretty close to that. Ben Affleck should be a big, bulky, bruiser type Batman. And now for his articulation. Starting with his head, of course, he can rotate side to side. He can look up pretty good amount, down pretty good amount, very well done. Tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders, ball joint goes out a little bit more than 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. Butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest, increasing the range of motion. He's got a bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows, they go all the way in. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. Torso, he's got a ball joint. Rotate around, forward and back. Another one is waist. Rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, very good range of motion in his torso area. I get more out of the torso than the waist on this guy. Legs, completely does the splits. McFarlane style hip joints. Rotations, pretty much non-existent. You go forward, about that far. Go to the side, they can go a little bit further up. Back, not much. Double jointed knees. And his ankle. Forward and back. Tilt, rock. Rotation. And of course, toe articulation. Here's a look at Batman on our gargoyle next to a rooftop in Gotham, overlooking and protecting the city. Here's a look at this Batman in the Batcave, with the Mattel DC Multiverse Justice League Batmobile behind him. And here he is, with Mattel's ultimate radio-controlled Justice League Batmobile behind him. And if you want to know which one of those 2 Batmobiles he fits into the Mattel DC Multiverse version. This is the smaller one. I think it looks better. It was cheaper at the time. I could not get him to fit in the other one. Spent about 5 minutes trying, fiddling with his legs. Just couldn't get him to go down the middle properly. But this one, open it up, he fits in there with complete clearance. Absolutely no problem. McFarlane DC Multiverse Batfleck with his Batmobile. Alfred's in the laboratory in the Batcave, working on his armored suit for the final fight. Here's a look at the scene where Batman first encounters Superman. Batmobile crashes into Superman. The expression on Batman's face is priceless. Hits Superman like a brick wall. Superman rips the top of the canopy. Says to Batman, "Next time they shine your light in the sky, don't go to it. The bat is dead. Bury it. Consider this mercy." And Batman replies, "Tell me, do you bleed?" Superman looks at him in disgust and flies away. And Batman says, "You will." A closer look at Batman and Superman. Batman with no power stands right up and faces Superman. Definitely got some balls in this universe. Right after Wonder Woman saves Batman's life, she drops down to help them fight Doomsday. Insert Wonder Woman theme song. Superman looks at Batman and says, "Is she with you?" Batman says, "I thought she was with you." And they proceed together to take on Doomsday. Now let's check them out. Next is some other action figures, starting off with some other Ben Affleck figures, and then with a bunch of other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here's the McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman vs Superman Ben Affleck. Next to the Justice League Tactical Suit Ben Affleck. They scale up pretty much the exact same size. Looking at the two of them, maybe the Batman vs Superman is just a hair shorter. You can see where their shoulders line up, but the head sits a little bit higher up, making them about the same height. And here he is, next to Batfleck from the Flash movie. Here are all the different McFarlane DC Multiverse Batfleck figures they've made. One's from the Flash, one's from Batman vs Superman, and 4 of them are from Justice League. Rumor is they're going to be doing a Nightmare Batman and an Armored Batman in the near future. Fingers crossed. I'd also love Justice League Batman in his regular suit. And here he is, next to the DC Direct movie Armored Ben Affleck Batman. They only made 2 figures in this line, Superman and the Armored Batman. There was a ton of other stuff shown to us, and it was all canceled. It's a shame. It all looked really good. And even though this Armored Batman is bigger than this McFarlane Batman, I'd say they scale perfect next to each other, as the armor is definitely going to add some size to Ben Affleck. And here he is, next to Mezco's 112 Collective Batman vs Superman Ben Affleck Batman. They recently released a Justice League Batfleck that has a similar suit. Here are all the different Mezco Batfleck figures that they've made, 3 of which are from Batman vs Superman, 2 of which are from Justice League. Here's the McFarlane Batman vs Superman Batfleck, next to Mattel's DC Multiverse version. Now this thing came out back in like 2016, maybe even 2015. Retailed $19.99, and then we have McFarlane's 2024 retailing at $22.99. That's sort of the natural progression with inflation, etc., etc. They're basically the same price point figure. Which one do you think is better? Sometimes I still see comments out there saying, hope McFarlane loses license, hope Mattel gets license back, want DC Universe Classics back. I love my DC Universe Classics. But man, look at this. If you think Mattel did a better job, you are fucking kidding yourselves. Just look in front of you right now. This is one of many examples. And in case I didn't get my point across, just look in front of you. Which one's better, McFarlane or Mattel? I think we're in much better hands nowadays. Mattel made a bunch of different versions of the Batman vs Superman Batman, from both Batman vs Superman and Justice League. Some with cloth cave, some with plastic cave, some with mask on, some with mask off, some with darker gray, some with lighter gray, blah 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 blah. But they're all pretty similar quality. And I like them for what they are, but they have been far surpassed by this one. Far surpassed. Here he is, next to the Mafex Batman vs Superman Batfleck. And that figure was far surpassed by Mafex's Justice League Batman, but that's a different suit altogether. Here are all the different Batfleck figures that Mafex has made so far. The 2 from Justice League are exquisite, outstanding. They are doing an updated version of the Nightmare Batman from Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm sure that'll be fantastic as well. Then, next to the SH Figure Arts Batfleck figure, technically this one is from Justice League, but it's the only Batfleck SH Figure Arts has made. And here he is, next to a couple of the Mattel 6-inch basic Batfleck figures. Frankly, these ones suck, but they're quite affordable at $9.99. Here are all the different Batfleck figures in his more or less regular suit from different companies, in order from largest to smallest. McFarlane, Mezco, Mattel DC Multiverse, Mafex, SH Figure Arts, and Mattel Basic. Now let's check them out with some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here's the Batman vs Superman Batfleck, next to the Justice League Batfleck in his tactical suit. Here are all 6 different variations of McFarlane's Ben Affleck figures, and rumor is they're going to be doing a couple more from Batman vs Superman, Nightmare, and Armored. Here he is, next to McFarlane's Henry Cavill Superman. Henry Cavill Superman is much bigger than the Batfleck, and it's a shame. That is the size I wanted this Batfleck to be. I wanted it to be giant, big, hulking Batman. Ben Affleck is actually taller than Henry Cavill. I know Superman is usually taller than Batman in the comics, but this is a very specific movie universe, and they should make it accurate to that. The real problem is that Henry Cavill's Superman is far too big. And when I say far, it's like 0.2 inches, but it makes a lot of difference when they're right next to each other like this. Batman looks kind of puny next to him, whereas in the film, they were pretty equal size. Batman did not seem puny ever in the film. And here he is, next to the Henry Cavill Superman, which is technically from Justice League, Batman technically from Batman vs Superman, and then this Wonder Woman, which is technically from Shazam 2. Batfleck is smaller than both of them. And then here he is, with the entire Justice League. Oh, I didn't realize how small he was. This sucks. Look at him. I want him to be big as Aquaman and Superman. He should be a big boy just standing up with them. He shouldn't be a little shrimp. That sucks. Now, I really wanted this Ben Affleck in his regular suit so bad when they were doing the Zack Snyder's Justice League figures. And here we are 2 years later. Yeah, I'm happy with him. But I'm definitely not happy with him with this lineup, that's for sure. He should be on par with Henry Cavill. He should be big as fuck. Here's a look at this Batfleck with the rest of the different movie Batman figures. One step closer to having the regular Batman looks for each of the different Batman actors. The only ones we really need to make me happy would be 7-inch scale Adam West, Val Kilmer in the main suit he wore in the film, and then a Batman Begins Christian Bale Batman. When I first heard we were getting Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton both together in the Flash film, I yearned for the two of them to interact like this, and unfortunately it never happened. Now let's check him out with some other McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman figures. Here he is, next to some other older figures. Bigger than some, smaller than others. Look at him next to the 3 Jokers Batman. That is the size I wanted this Ben Affleck Batman to be so bad. I wanted him to be as big as they come, because that guy was a giant, a beast in the movie. And here he is, next to some more recent McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman figures. Like I said, taller than some, smaller than others. He's maybe a little bit bigger than the Nightfall Batman. Pretty similar to Rebirth Batman. Smaller than the Hush Batman, and that is the size I want him to be. Now I'm the first one to say I think the Hush Batman is a little bit too big. Ben Affleck Batman is about the right size for a Batman figure in this line. But come on, this is Batfleck. He should be big as... And here, next to some more miscellaneous McFarlane Batman figures. Once again, taller than some, smaller than others, not as big as I wish he was. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect. Next to the Nightmare version of Batman and his Hellbat armor. And I want to include as many Batman figures as I can during these comparisons. From McFarlane's toy store. Since we already checked him out next to plenty of McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman figures, here he is next to some more McFarlane toys. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane toys, all 7-inch scale. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some DST or Diamond Select toys. Here's Batman, next to a roll of paper towels. And here he is, with some DC Direct and NECA Batman figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel Batman figures. Next, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, next to some SH Figure Arts and some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. Overall, it's a very nice Ben Affleck Batman figure. He looks really good by himself, but put him with some of the other DC Cinematic Universe figures, and it's kind of disappointing. Now, the only thing short of making him a perfect figure by himself is sort of the head and the neck. The head needs to be pushed down a little further in the neck, and the only problem with that is it's going to make him even shorter than he already is. Now, the other big problem with him is his height. I think he's about the perfect size that a Batman figure should be in this line, but because the scale's been inconsistent, some figures are bigger, some figures are smaller, I wish he was on the bigger side of things. I wish he was a full 7.4 inches tall like the 3 Jokers of the Hush Batman. As it is, he looks small next to a lot of the other figures. He looks small next to the 3 Jokers and Hush Batman. He looks small next to Henry Cavill and Jason Momoa, Superman and Aquaman figures. He should not be the smaller member of the Justice League. He's like Flash's size, and that sucks. His accessories, they're kind of crappy. Grappling launcher, the batarangs, they're too big. Paint jobs, non-existent. Extra hands, at least he has fists and gripping hands, thank you for that. Cloth cape, no problem. Texture in a suit, pretty good. Just his height. McFarlane, I swear to God, hire me to approve all the heights of the different figures. It will go a long way with the fans. If I were to rate this guy, I'd probably give him an 8.5 out of 10 if he was 7.4 inches tall. As it is, I want to give him a 7.5, but I think I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I mean, he is very nice by himself. I like him a lot. I just want to be able to play well with others. And what I mean by that is dominate over them. Come on, this is Affleck Batman. So, I'll probably give him a 7.5, but I'm really torn on that. It is a nice figure. I like him a lot. Just wish he was a little bigger. Yes, I'm sure people can customize him, do stuff to his hips, extend his torso, blah, 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 blah. You shouldn't have to. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add it to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.